Before delving into today's edition of the program, as always, let's take out some time to talk about the Mutual Assistance and the Solidarity Program MASO, an initiative that has been brought at your disposal. You is listening to me, your friends, your family members, and your spouses, or whoever is close to you. The Mutual Assistance is an initiative, like I said, that has been brought at your disposal to elevate you all from the shackles of poverty, to help you in your daily activities. We have various things that you stand to benefit. If you are a beneficiary, there are various things that you stand to win or you stand to gain. I would like to use the word gain. It's not winning. It's either you're benefiting or you are gaining something. It's not necessarily winning. So the Mutual Assistance, there are various cash prizes, material prizes, and then assistance that you stand to benefit just because you've registered for this initiative. And to get yourself enrolled, the process is very easy. With just 26,000 CFA francs at any of the Groupe Renapro Finance agencies located within or out of Yaoundé, or better still here at Royal FM, which is located at Sapeur Mimboman, what we call in English the Firefighters Brigade. You can be a beneficiary. You can win a villa house. You can win cash prizes ranging from 100,000 CFA francs right through to 2 million CFA francs. We have 100,000, 250, 500, 750, 1 million. 2 million CFA francs. We are just coming out of the 6th edition, meaning that it has existed for six editions, and registration for the 7th edition is already on. Registrations already started long ago, and for you who hasn't registered, you can see kick off your registration now. Registration already started on the 30th of the month of June, and for those who started registration from day one, if you do the mathematics, it's just 100 francs every day. For 1 year, it lands you at 26,000 CFA francs, which I would always say is a symbolic sum of money. It's not just any sum of money. One important thing you should know that is that you can contribute the 26,000 CFA francs in installments that suit you. That is, you may decide to contribute on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on monthly basis. It all depends on you. But the most important thing here is that before the deadline, that is when we are going to announce the deadline, you must have completed your registration, must have completed the 26,000 CFA francs. If you are 25,975 francs, sorry, you are not eligible to be called a mutualist. And recall that only mutualists can benefit from any of the things I listed. Like I said, we are just wrapping up with the 6th edition, where people benefited from a lot of things, and in the days ahead, some have already started collecting what they benefited from. In the days ahead, others are going to still benefit from what they took in. Talking of the assistance, I earlier on mentioned there are various assistance, and the most notable one is health. Health is very important. It is next to none, how to always say. At the Mama Hospital Complex, you have a discount on all your bills. That is a discount of 30% on all your bills. That is to say, if you go for consultation, whatever thing you go there, you benefit from a discount, and this is because you've registered for the Mutual Assistance. You can equally benefit from legal assistance for those of you who want to bind some of your properties legally and they don't know how to go about it, or you have anything related to the legal field, don't know how to go about it. The Mutual Assistance has put together a legal team that can lead you through this process. We equally have the construction of borehole service at your localities for those who have registered. So there are a lot of things you stand to benefit just because you registered for the Mutual Assistance. For more inquiries, you can dial the number 6406138442, 6406138442, or 671157321, 671157321. Those numbers you can dial to get to us for any inquiries on the Mutual Assistance and the Solidarity Program MASO.
Renapro of MASO. Renapro offers MASO.
Congratulations to all the lucky beneficiaries of MASO Act 6.
God has already blessed us and we will continue to do it. So by God's grace, yes, by God's grace, because it's God who give me.
I just won 215,000. I'm happy.
I am happy. I am very happy for my financial. Thank you, Renapro. 500,000.
I'm so happy today. I was not expecting to win today. I'm so happy. I'm so surprised. I was not even waiting for that. 250,000.
I will not go back. When they reach the box of 1 million, I remove my MASO card. I say, as I'm removing it, call my name. I will not live here. And finally,
I contribute to the development of population by bringing them out of poverty. The MASO initiative has supported many businessmen and has also helped small, medium enterprises prosper.
Who will be the next beneficiary of Act 7 of the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity MASO? Rush to any RENAPO Finance SA agency. Register and make your contribution into the Mutual Assistance and Solidarity MASO. You could be the next happy beneficiary in just a few days. At MASO, we simply live our African values.
RENAPOV of MASO.
Félicitations à tous les bénéficiaires de l'acte 6 de la MASO de RENAPRO Finance SA.
J'ai sollicité ça. J'étais très content, très fier. C'est ma première fois de souscrire à MASO. Ma femme vend les arachides. Donc j'ai acheté les sacs des arachides. Je vais rembourser 10 000 francs par mois. M'aider à envoyer mes enfants à l'école.
Tellement fier, je suis fier. Quand je fais dans les transferts de crédit, les dépôts, je augmente mon capital. Si quelqu'un vient veut un bon retrait, je peux le faire. Le message, c'est que si quelqu'un est sérieux, il suit MASO.
Moi, je ne m'attendais pas. Je suis très émue avec ce tirage. C'est ma première année. Je suis dans le commerce. La MASO est bien. Parce que même j'ai essayé, je ne m'attendais pas. Et comme j'ai pu avoir ce lot, j'encourage tout le monde de suivre mon examen.
Un sentiment de joie. Il faut que des actions comme celle-ci se multiplient pour que davantage on puisse en bénéficier. C'est Dieu, c'est pas autre chose.
J'ai demandé à Dieu que si vraiment il me coupe, au plus grand souhait, c'est qu'il me donne cette maison. Ça fait 6 ans que moi je joue au MASO, je n'ai jamais gagné. Cette fois-ci, j'ai demandé seulement la maison, je suis très content. Merci à MASO.
Qui sera le prochain bénéficiaire de l'acte 7? Rendez-vous auprès des différentes agences RENAPRO Finance SA en vue de procéder à la souscription et d'effectuer vos cotisations et être heureux bénéficiaire dans les prochains jours. À la MASO, vivons simplement nos valeurs africaines.
I think it is a fair group, given that Cameroon has played with Côte d'Ivoire 5 times and have won 3, Côte d'Ivoire winning 2. I think the historicity between these two countries is what many Cameroons are going to be seeing.
It's going to be a regional derby. It's always going to be a hotly contested game. We all know the tussle for supremacy in this sub-region. Gabon, just like Equatorial Guinea, Central Africa, Congo, they want to always prove that they have come of age, they have made progress, and they can show that they are better than Cameroon.
Le continent contre la Côte d'Ivoire, the Elephants against the Indomitable Lions. Everyone is looking forward to that exciting fixture. The group has been drawn, and to me it's very fair. So it's going to be a battle between Coach Marc Brice of Cameroon, Coach MS Faye of Ivory Coast, Coach Chiquino Konde of Mozambique, and then Coach Thierry Uyuma of Gabon.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Reality.4FM. The program signing in is Spotter. Like I said, we are going to be doing a wrap of the Just in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Plus, we'll end the program with a preview of the 2026 WAFCON, where Cameroon is amongst 16 teams to take part in this year's edition. The first time in history we'll be having 16 teams in the Women's African Cup of Nations. It starts in Morocco on July 26th, and Cameroon's opening game is on the 29th against Mali. In the studio with me is Akumani David. Good afternoon, David. It is nice to have you on board. Welcome.
You started with the smallest person.
What do you mean by
small? That maybe you begin with the big guns before coming to the young boys like us. I'm happy to be here again.
Maybe you are the bigger one.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here again after a week of break. Last Tuesday I was waiting for a text message as usual. But unfortunately I did not receive. I said, well, maybe this time around, Brian has decided to drop me off.
No.
His squad as one of his consultants at Sports R.
No, you are titular.
I'm happy to be among big guns, as I said. Good afternoon to our listeners. Good afternoon to fans of Man United. Our season has begun, and it's true that it began on a very slow pace. But during pre-season that we find combinations.
David, I'll come back to
we
take
find
your
combinations.
excuse.
We find combinations, and
I'll come back to take your excuse. Trust me. Yes, I'll come back to take your excuse. We equally have Mbache Bernard. This should be the third time Bernard is coming for sports. I welcome Bernard. It's nice to have you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very much excited to be here. It's always a privilege for me to sit on this platform and discuss football with you.
I did not even premeditate your name. I mean, I just like you, and I was surprised. Oh, I still remember the name, but it was nice. But I hope we are going to enjoy ourselves. The last time we were here this year was it was a good one.
Yes.
There's one thing I would like to know. I mean, he already revealed that he's a Manchester United fan, and then I've known you for many years, but I don't know. Liverpool fan, I presume.
Well, for me, I think the platform that I run, Ben Football Theatre, does not have a club.
No, but
personally, Ben,
yes, you.
I think my club is Liverpool.
I know because the way you always write, I could tell. I know there is something Liverpool about this guy. That's why there's something Liverpool about this guy.
I know you're smiling because you have your fellow fans.
I don't know what you're talking about. And then we equally have this your colleague.
Really,
it's a Red Devil, Lawrence Kede. It is nice to have you back again.
Well, good afternoon, Brian. Good afternoon to my co-panelists. It's a pleasure to be back after so long. I think I've been away for a couple of months, but I'm glad to be back. I mean, the studio remains beautiful. There is AC, there is everything.
Yeah, all just for you.
I would recommend that, if we do a competition in all the studios I've been in the capital city of Yaoundé, I bet you that
number one.
Royal FM will be number one.
Definitely. Thank you very much for the remarks. I'm going to start off with you, Lawrence. Just so don't waste much time. The World Cup 2020 FIFA World Cup. We're going to start off from there, and then we'll end the program with the WAFCON. Did you expect? Let's take it globally. Did you expect Spain as champion? I mean, when we had from kickoff, was it Spain you expected? Did you even see them amongst your probably top three or something?
Well, I think my experience of the World Cup is generally that when you look at the first games, never consider the first game, because sometimes the big guns, they start slow, they take their time, and
like in 2022.
Yeah, and it's at the level of the knockout stages that you start seeing the real boys coming out, and some of the big teams struggle to move out of the group stage, but once they get to the knockout stage, they become something else. So, but for Spain, really, it's true that I didn't predict them as to become champions. We knew Les Bleus of France were there; they were the arch favorites, and we knew Argentina too was present. I was thinking of Germany, not really Portugal. I was thinking of Germany, France, most especially, and why not Spain? And when you look at how Cabo Verde held Spain in a goalless draw, you are like, okay, if Cabo Verde can do it for their first appearance at the World Cup, that means Spain is not a threat. but we didn't know that they were building up the momentum to get right up to the finals. And I think the World Cup is about experience, it's about strategy and how you go about things. It's not necessarily about having 11 superstars, but it's really about strategy and game management.
Now that the competition has finished, I don't first of all know how you reacted to the fact that they were expanding the World Cup from 32 to 60 to 48. I don't know how you reacted, but now the competition, it played out definitely. I think that with 32 teams, we had a total of about 60-something games in total, but with 48 teams, it should be at 104 or something.
Yes, more than 5, I think so, something like that.
Did you really see it necessary now that the competition has played out? Like, did you see the expansion as a necessary step?
Well, when I first heard of the expansion and playing in 3 different countries, for me, it was impossible, and it would have been something boring. But I think the way FIFA handled it, and when you look at the nations too, we hosted it, they have experience of international competition. And I was like navigating from one country to the other, going to play 1 games from Mexico and going to the United States and moving to Canada would have been complicated. But I think everything went on smoothly because the infrastructure and the logistics was present. But I was surprised about the expansion. I thought it would be boring, but I think we had a good number of games, and you're not obliged to watch all the games. Every nation wants to be part of the competition, and I think we had exciting games, small nations versus big nations. I discovered a country called Caracao. I never knew it existed. So I think it's an exciting forum where everybody meets around the world to come together and play. And when you look at the prize money, I bet you that 48 is an interesting number. If just for the prize money, I will take it. I mean, do you imagine that Tunisia came out last of his pool with a goal difference of -10, lost all 8 games, were beaten by Scotland 5-1, beaten by everybody, and went home with $12.5 million. If that's the case, let us just go there and qualify and go home with the money.
Bernard, we have 211 countries playing football. Yes. They are affiliated to FIFA, 211 associations, and more than half of that number, like 130 something, had never qualified for the World Cup. FIFA gave this as one of the reasons why they are expanding, so that some people should have an opportunity. That's what he mentioned of the Curacao. That's how some of these things got to qualify for the competition. But I want to look at the quality. Did the World Cup still have substance? Because the argument is that more teams prompted the difficulty level drop. That's why some people were not very proud of the African contingent, that these teams qualified because we had more teams. I mean, not like before. For instance, the last time we were in the World Cup 2022, we were in a certain group. We had Switzerland, Serbia, and Brazil. Yes. We had 4 points, and then we could not make it out of that group. But now, this competition, a team had 3 draws and qualified. So the narrative is that more teams mean that the difficulty level dropped, and it was more easier for teams to qualify for the knockouts. And so a lot of people were not really proud. Do you buy the idea?
Well, I don't buy that particular idea. Why? Because when you look at the top tier teams and what you call the lower tier teams, the gap has massively reduced over the last couple of years. You look, for example, how Cape Verde was able to stop mighty Spain from scoring. I think they're the only team that stopped Spain from scoring. That tells you a lot. And you have a very good number of reasons why some of these lower tier teams have really managed to bridge this gap. You have, number one, I think during the World Cup, what we call hydration breaks. It really helped a lot in order to fix some tactical issues, so coaches could easily intervene in time. And then secondly, you have nearly every team out there, they have good tactical analysts these days. And so they have information, the access to information, with lower tier teams, it is easier compared to back in the days. And when you put all of these factors together, you then realize that what we used to call the smaller teams, they are no longer small. They are tactically able. And then also, I shouldn't forget this, most of their players ply their trade in Europe, which means the gap has really been bridged, and they understand tactical ideologies and can execute them right up to the highest level. So the idea of having easy teams in the World Cup. I'm sorry, you no longer have easy teams in the World Cup because of these different reasons that I've mentioned that has made the lower teams, the smaller teams better these days. So I think it was very, very interesting to me.
Before we even get into the competition, this is one thing I wanted to even bring before we get into the competition proper. Now, David, Lawrence made mention of the fact that he didn't like the idea of playing in 3 different countries, and these 3 different countries, each of them, I presume, don't have their regulations are not the same in terms of maybe
immigration.
Yes, immigration and all that, and it was a very big problem. I mean, we had countries that geopolitical issues with another country, and so they tend to use it as an opportunity to do against them. For instance, one of if you look at South Africa had problems before eventually all their delegation could go. Ghana could not go Thomas Partey, not to talk about Iran, who were playing in, they had to travel from where to where, from one country, Mexico pitied them that they should come and stay there.
And after the game in the US, they had to go back immediately.
They had to go back. Don't you think that FIFA failed in that aspect? I mean, the issue of expanding, I understand that going for 3 countries is because of the expansion. Maybe it's cumbersome for one country to do you think that they factored off that? If of course they factored, don't you think that is already something they should take into consideration? I mean, the various regulations, the immigration laws and all those.
It's true that football is a uniting factor, but sometimes we should not use uniting factor to forget our constitution, our rules, because sometimes you might allow your borders open, and before you know it, after the World Cup, you will be the one solving your own problems. Because I will tell you, majority of Cameroonians were saying that Cameroon were angry that Cameroon did not qualify for the World Cup, not because they wanted Cameroon to actually go and play, but they wanted to just use an opportunity to go and go to America and smuggle their way to smuggle their way into the country. So I think that in as much as we want football to unite people, but sometimes we have to take cautionary measures to ensure that, because after the World Cup, they say after the party is the person who will stay the party will know how to watch the justice. So I want to understand these countries very well. It's true that FIFA would have made the rule it would have made known, because it's like it took some of the countries by surprise. A country like Iran, I don't know if Iran did not know before time when they were qualified that no, they have issues with America, they had to sort out. I think that they would have taken time to educate this country to ensure that all the border policies are well regularized well ahead of time. Those countries that for example, like Iran, who could not stay in America, they would have at least made their pull to be in Mexico or Canada. So I think that it was going to solve some issues. As I said, it's true that football is a uniting factor, but we should not forget the fact that after that,
probably failed to unite.
After that, the America will be the one to solve it. Because if thieves go into America,
the players are thieves.
I'm not saying the players are thieves, but sometimes they'll use that the fans might use that as an opportunity to go to America. As I said, if Cameroon were qualified,
because this is one of the reasons some of the countries have projected for poor performance. I mean, they will tell you that this our player was not able to go, this our player was not able to play. And
imagine that Thomas Partey had an issue with his, as he was in England. He was awaiting trial. So I think that the law in Canada does not permit you to enter the country where you are awaiting trial of a crime that is so grievous, like sexual harassment. So I think that the countries, if FIFA is organized and the competition of such magnitude next edition, they should ensure that all the qualifying teams should already regularize their situation well ahead of time, so that we'll not have all these issues at the end of the day.
Lawrence, in 2022 we were 5. Africa 5, the contingent was 5, and they made it to the semi-final. Heading into this competition, the number grew to 10. Expectations were higher. I mean, especially when 9 out of the 10 qualified from their group stages. I mean, guys were like, yeah. But then we ended at the quarterfinal. Is that a proud result? Because is that something to be proud of? Make it to the quarterfinal of the contingent of 10?
Well, I think the way we ended up our competition for most African countries is really not something to be proud of, because the African countries were up to standards. You didn't hear any scandal that these African countries just came in to fill in the blank spaces. I mean, they led on the score lines, but if football was just 80 minutes, I bet you would have made it to the semi-finals. But football, unfortunately, it's 90 minutes, and in those last 10 minutes, we had a problem with game management, with concentration, with emotions, because when a team like Egypt is leading 2-0, the emotions of the players overtake them, and we are moving over, we are going to eliminate Argentina. That emotion alone kills you in the last 10 minutes of play. Same thing for RD Congo. I mean, we are leading England. We didn't even know that we could get to this level of the competition, and the emotions overtake the players, and we fall. I mean, all the African countries, I mean, I'm disappointed with the way we went out of the competition. Would have made it at least even 7 to get to the quarterfinals at least, because we had the talents, we had the qualities, and as he mentioned earlier, I mean, these are players playing in Europe. You look at RD Congo, you have 3 players in RD Congo that were born in Congo. All the rest were born in either France or Belgium, so they were up to the task, but I don't know whether it's an African syndrome where we become emotive and we are able to move through. We're counting on Morocco. Unfortunately, Morocco was playing France, and everybody knew, well, just forget about it, because the French team was built to win this World Cup, and even the way Morocco went into that quarterfinals, very respective, or too respective of France, unable to kick one ball, stayed behind, tried to conserve score and drag France to the penalty shootout. Apart from Morocco, we had Egypt too, fell to Argentina. They would have beaten Argentina. So there was that possibility of getting to the quarter or the semi-finals, but it's rather unfortunate that we came 10 and were unable to make it. Maybe equally the prize money too was a problem, because when you get to a certain level of competition and they tell you, okay, at this level you're already earning, I mean, moving out of the group stages, you already have $13.5 million. I mean, you are just like, okay, even if you go home, it's not bad. By the time you get to the quarterfinals, we are talking of $20-25 million. Let's take the money and go home. So sometimes your ambitions can be limited, and you are happy or contented by just qualifying by just moving out of the group stages. So I believe it's a disappointment for the continent, because there was room to make it right up to the semi-finals.
Bernard, as Lawrence has mentioned, one thing that kept reoccurring was the issue of, you lead and then they lead you back. They lead you back. I don't know. Do you think that it's like all the teams, the African teams that went through that same scenario, it's the same problem tactically? It's the same problem, or each of them had like their individual problem? Because it just doesn't. I'm finding it very difficult to understand. I mean, you see 2-0 against Argentina, and then 2-3-2 with maybe end 2-2 3-2.
That game I was watching that game. I said at the 80th minute. No, I said
I was not watching the game.
At the 80th minute, I left it at 2-0. I said, let me go and ease myself and see somebody. And before coming back, I saw 3-2. I said, it's the pass. But the serious now, I was surprised.
Yes,
yes, you can.
Yes, the World Cup was very fascinating for me, and in the build-up to the World Cup, I did analyze a couple of games. I remember I watched was Morocco's game. I watched Congo's game. Morocco against this team Haaland, Norway.
Yeah.
Yes, Morocco against Norway, and my prediction was that African teams would do well in the World Cup, and we saw that they had the technical base. In the World Cup, for example, I look at South Africa. South Africa had a very good play style, positional football. But what's his name again?
Hugo Broos.
Yeah, Hugo Broos. Hugo Broos stepped out and complained that some players were not able to execute the tactical elements that they discussed. For example, you look at the first goal that they conceded against Canada. You see the mistake in the midfield, and then equally you look at Morocco, how Morocco played against Brazil. A very good plan. Deep block, and then they are orientated by the movement of the ball. They close the spaces, and then they hit with counters. And then we saw the reverse, how they managed to of our right Holland, Netherlands, Netherlands, they were able to dominate them in possession. It was, in fact, everything, and it was amazing. But then, like he has mentioned, there's something that we actually lack. I think when you give a lot of respect to some of these teams, especially positional teams, there's something that we don't understand. Positional teams, when you are positional, for example, the likes of Pep Guardiola, they say that his football is boring. But what they do is that they play you around. Once they play you around, there's a moment when you are going to give up, because once they are playing you around, you keep on moving. As you keep on moving, there are spaces that you won't be able to cover. If you watch, for example,
that space you leave unconsciously.
Yes, if you watch, for example, the World Cup final, Argentina, there were a good number of moments where the middle was empty and I was crying out that Spain, you just need to punch it again to the middle. Look at Portugal, the same thing. Portugal came, they defended so well. They moved the ball around. Before you knew it, when Merino came in, Merino was able to, Ferran Torres was able to get the ball, punch through the middle. So there are spaces that you won't cover. And so African teams that went into some of these games to defend, they actually dealt with them so badly. The first was Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast played so well against Germany. And just towards the end, Nagelsmann makes a tactical switch and brings on Undav. Of course, Undav is a very good poacher around the box. He understands the box so well. And what I saw was a free passing lane into Undav. It took him 2 touches. 1 touch he turns and he shoots and scores. We move on again to Congo. The same thing. Congo took the lead. They defended so well, and towards the end, they could not cover the spaces. Bellingham, very intelligent, makes a deep run. And before we know it, Gordon finds him again. A passing lane, he goes and causes chaos. They actually score. I think the other game, it shouldn't be Egypt. It was this same Ivory Coast again. Ivory Coast again against Norway. You have Oscar Bob, who has the ball down there on the right. He turns out and a passing lane opens up. He passes it and there's a tap in for Haaland towards the end. Which means African teams, mentally, I think tactically we are good, but mentally we need to get to that point where we can manage games once we take the lead. We all saw it with England. England could not manage the game properly against Argentina. They decided to defend. It was that just protracted what African teams face in the competition. So the next level, I think the next level for African teams, we have the players. Unfortunately, it is that mentality. We need to forget that we are African. We can do some of these things. We don't need to pay a lot of respect. I love the way Morocco played against Netherlands. They needed to carry that same mentality. To be honest with you, before France went into the competition, I never thought France would cross the quarterfinals. Why? Because I think Didier Deschamps, the way he presses, there are vulnerabilities with his press, and equally their rest defense equally had issues getting into the competition. But what Didier Deschamps knows to do so well is to manage players. Yes, he knows how to profile players and then bring them together. That's why when they stepped up against Spain, they were completely destroyed. You could see the tactical know-how of Spain. They were that France attack. They were completely out of place. And so, I think the World Cup, it is a lesson for us African teams. We need the good profiles, and I'm hoping, especially for Cameroon. When I talk, I must just in a second mention Cameroon here. I watched Cameroon during the AFCON, and I've been crying. Cameroon's midfield, it is a problem. Cameroon cannot manage games. If you remember Cameroon against Morocco during the AFCON, they stopped Baleba, and that was the end for us. So these are some lessons that we can learn.
Now, going back to that same issue, is this problem down to just the players, their mentality, or the coaches equally have a contribution? Because now, if you take a game like, I think that was Senegal-Belgium. Senegal was leading the game. Belgium made a substitution, brought in Lukaku, who know him for his physique and all that. And a lot of us as fans were expecting that, okay, bring someone to that can match him in terms of bringing Koulibaly to match that physicality. Because if you look at that goal, it was brute force. Koulibaly, the second goal he scored. So is it down to just the players or the coaches too, they themselves?
Well, I generally I think it is down to players. Koulibaly in this World Cup was a total mess. Yes, during the first couple of games, out of place. For the very first time, I think Koulibaly has been the best African defender for me for a good number of years. The last time when I watched him, that was 2019, the AFCON here. I could see the qualities of Koulibaly. But I think it is down to players. When you look at the amount of individual mistakes that we made, and the tactical adjustments, even within the games, the first hydration breaks, the first hydration break, you could see that African coaches, not necessarily African coaches, but coaches that coach African teams, they had the tactical know-how. But as it went on, it is true, you can tell players do this and do that, but individually, no matter what you do, tactically, at the end of the day, it rests on the decisions of the players. And some of these players, mentally, they are not up there, to execute the instructions of the coach. So I'll blame the players and not necessarily the managers. Maybe you can go to England and they say, yes, you blame the manager. But as far as African teams are concerned, I think the players have the blame.
Okay, now, David, so they are talking about the mentality. And so I just want to globalize mentality of Africans as a whole. The fans, both the fan base, the players, everybody, just everybody in Africa. Because the narrative is we are proud of the performance that these African teams pulled off there. Maybe for a European contingent, they will not be, if they were in our shoes, they will not be proud of this performance. So why are we settling for this? Like, we are proud that this is how it ended. We are proud that we have gained this million. Let's go us back.
So I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago when we were analyzing the game, the Democratic Republic of Congo against Belgium, because looking at the way Africans play football, we have our identity that we should not forget, because sometimes at the dying stage of matches, that is when the African mentality has to come in. Because I remember when I was playing football when I was young, when we are winning 2-0 and we are already towards the end of the match, everything for bush. That's what they should tell us. That's what they should tell us. But now you want to match up. You want to match up with these Europeans, whereas you don't have the right mentality. As we have mentioned about mentality, you don't have the right mentality to match up with these Europeans. I think that we have that African identity that we need to hold till the end of matches. Because if the game against I was expecting that Senegal will Koulibaly, who is so gigantic, can play that type of football that we know in Africa. I think that if they had matched up, if they have matched up with the African identity, they have brought up the African identity, they would know that we'll go with physicality. If Senegal would have gone with physicality, like, for example, removing an attacker, bringing some defenders to come and block the game to the end of it. I think that Senegal would have gone through, but now they wanted to play the Europeans. And if you want to go and play like somebody who mastered the game very well more than you, I think that it's going to hurt you so badly. I think that now, don't you think that there is probably because when you bring a foreigner to come and coach a team, he's playing by what he knows there. But I think that when you come to coach a team, you manage the local realities. I think that you should be able to know that this African football, no matter what we do, it's true that we'll play like Spain for, let's say, 80 minutes. We'll play like tiki-taka for 80 minutes. But now, at the end of the game, what do? We play the bush football. I think that would have seen us so many games. I was so baffled. I was so pained with the game that Senegal lost against Belgium. I was expecting Senegal to block off Belgium and see the game through, but unfortunately, they allowed Belgium to play them, and Lukaku came in and did a wonderful job to score the winner.
Yeah, just to add, again, when you look at the goals that they conceded, the ball is pinged up to the wing, and the cross is incoming. What do you expect of your centre back? He should be first to the ball. The guy does not. He's not first to the ball, and Lukaku cuts in front of him and snatches. It is a tap in. Second goal, they cross the ball in. The goalkeeper steps out, out in no man's land, and he misses it. And that is it. And finally, they get the equalizer. So when you look at it again, it's not down to the manager. These are just mistakes again from players, basic mistakes. The mentality, they are not fully in the game.
Lawrence, I always like to come back to this issue of
bushball.
I think it is when Senegal came and won the AFCON with a coach from Senegal.
Yeah,
things changed a lot. I mean, most African teams are like, yes. If you take someone from our own country, you work. If you take someone from our own country, you work. It doesn't really work for us in this World Cup. I mean, if you compare the teams that went with the coaches from their own countries and then teams that had foreigners as their coaches.
One thing we should understand with this issue of local coaches, it's not even the issue of the coaches. It's the definition of game philosophy for the nation. The Spaniards have their way of playing the tiki-taka. The coach who won the World Cup, nobody knows him.
De La Fuente.
bring another coach there, he's going to win the same thing, because they have a specific way of playing, and all the coaches have been trained in that line of action. Same thing for the Germans. They have the German style of football. Change the coach, change whosoever you change, they have their own way of playing, because they have defined their football. Argentina too has its own way of play. You look at Argentina, for example, you will not find players of 1.80 m.
Yeah.
They value short players because they value rapid football, down to earth. They don't take long. If you are tall in Argentina, it will be difficult for you to play in the national team. So each nation defines its game philosophy. And when you have national coaches, you can change them every day. They will go in that same line of action, and they will determine how are we winning with our strength. So it depends on one or any coach, but they have the same way of looking at things. You come to the African nations, I mean, we don't have a game plan, a game philosophy. Each coach comes in and say, okay, I'll play with 3 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 2 attackers. Another coach comes and say, okay, I'll play with 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 attackers, and tells you this is a tactical play. You have not grown, you have not been groomed into any game philosophy. So that's why we play even on emotions, because at one point we have to use the Hemle or I don't know, the patriotic spirit to win games. And there is that issue of internal organization itself, because if you take a team like Senegal, I mean, it was a big mess. Don't look at Senegal, the African champions. It was a big mess. I mean, the delegation accompanied the team was more than the team itself. I mean, the way they were complaining, the coach didn't even have a contract going to the World Cup, because he even wanted to resign beforehand. And there was all that issue, internal squabbles. Koulibaly would decide who is going to the World Cup and who is not going, because they had about 3 or 4 players who decide who are those going, and leave out these players. And they have the younger generation who are looking at the Koulibalys like, these guys have to move out so that we can. So you have all those things that the coach has to manage. And sometimes you bring in foreign coaches, they don't fail because they don't know the tactics. They fail because they are unable to understand the philosophy, unable to understand the cultural setup. It's just like Paul Ogwen came to Cameroon and removed the armband from Rigobert Song and gave it to Samuel Eto'o, and we never won anything from there, and everything got destroyed. It's just like a coach came to Ghana, removed the armband from Samuel Johnson and gave it to Ayew, son of, and they were saying it was disrespecting Samuel Johnson, and Ghana disappeared from football. So these are cultural issues that you need to understand. So sometimes the coaches in Africa, they have to manage not just the tactical play, but also the internal management, because sometimes the Minister of Sports can come and wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say we have to sing the national anthem. So you have these aspects that come into play that you have to manage. So for the Europeans, football is a profession. They are all professionals, and they come in and do their things as professionals. For us, we come with professionals. Even the coach is professional. The entire team is professional, but it doesn't suffice. You have to handle the cultural aspects. Some time ago in Cameroon, before going to the World Cup, you had to leave players go back to the village before coming and going. Whereas the European coach said, no, I've drawn my timetable, we have to go and do training, and players like, I've not gone to the village. How can I go to the World Cup without going to without passing through the blessings? So all those aspects, you have to take them in consideration. And we in Africa, we don't play football just like, okay, we lost and we clap and we go home. No, we have so many considerations attached to it, and it has made it very difficult for our coaches, be it the nationals or foreigners. But you see a country like Morocco that has defined its football philosophy. You see Regragui goes away, a new coach comes in, and it's the same line of action, because they have been doing that since the under-17. They have a game philosophy, and you take coaches for them to be coaches of the senior team. You have to coach the under-17, the under-20s, even in Spain. I mean, De La Fuente winning. De La Fuente had won with the under-20 or
under-18, under-21.
So he knows the game and he knows the players. So when it comes with those young players, they know themselves. It's not you don't take sand and throw it into a gari and you think that is going to go into the mouth easily. So you have to follow up. Rigobert Song tried with the under-23, failed and was given the senior team. But whereas they have to groom you so that you succeed at that lower level before moving upstairs. So in Africa, we bring the white sorcerers and we think they are going to create miracles, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Lawrence, now when you look at South Africa and Egypt, which one is it you think they're aiming for to probably develop their local teams, or their interest was really in this World Cup to go as well? Because I say so because now when you look at, for instance, South Africa, a majority of those players play there in South Africa, and we are aware of the FIFA development.
That they give, according to the players who play at home, you have those financial bonuses that are going to go to the teams.
Normally, when an average person sits down to analyze, for instance, if South Africa is to play Brazil, an average person will tell you that South Africa stands no chance. Now let's put aside the tactical thing. We already have this inferiority complex. Especially when you say this guy is playing in South Africa, this guy plays in Liverpool, this one plays in... So the immediate reflex is that they stand no chance at all. South Africa, I'm sure they themselves, for a bit, they think about this. I mean, our players play just here in South Africa. They're going to have guys who play in Germany, who play here, and so on. But then they are still insistent on that it doesn't move them. Why do you think it doesn't move them to, maybe call up one of few guys who play around there to blend the team, but they still continue? The same thing too for Egypt. If you look at Egypt, and so I was even amazed. I saw one of these guys, this small guy who play Al Ahly, Omar Shaw, something.
Omar Shaw.
Yeah. Al Ahly is practically 50% of the Egyptian national team. I mean, that you don't go to Europe to play because what they pay in Europe, a Belgium team, there are Belgian teams that cannot pay players as what Al Ahly gives to its players. Yeah. South Africans, they know that their leagues are among the top 20 leagues in the world. So they have nothing to envy to any other person. That's why it's difficult for them to go and play out of the country. You are home, you have your friends, you have the same amount of money that can be paid when you are playing out of the country. So you think you are a big boy playing at home and going to the World Cup, and they don't have the same pressure as the other teams where professionals come from Europe and they know that, okay, you're coming from Europe, that means we have to win because we are playing at the same level with the others. So I think the game philosophy there, it's continue with the way you play locally. But now these teams, once they take foreign coaches, a coach will come and and the coach comes with the European mentality that the African teams, they are playing locally, they are not up to the level. They start playing defensive football. They start defining defensive football. They don't let the players move forward. I mean, it's the same thing we had with coaches like Polo. When you have an interesting Cameroonian team, but all the thing first is, let's not concede a goal. Let's first see how to keep our goals clear before seeing what we can do further. Whereas a European coach with European players, we are going there to play the football. So I think that paternalistic way of reasoning, I think even for Ghana is the same thing. We saw Ghana at the World Cup. I mean, you just play, say, no, let's sit behind. You don't spend your life sitting behind. Play with your qualities. Go there and lose with your qualities. Sometimes you lose in order to learn, and later on in the future you win games, because if you have defined your game philosophy, each time you play and you lose, you adapt yourself and you learn from your mistakes, and you are going to restructure that game philosophy till it yields the necessary fruits. I told you Argentina, the way they play and the type of players they are, and they insist on the same thing, and they go there and win World Cups. France has its own way of playing because France has moved from the Spanish, Latin way of playing football to getting these Africans physically strong, strengthen the midfield, and get one or two blacks up front who can rush and put the ball in the back of the net. Maybe with Zidane things are going to change. But you play with your qualities, you define your game of play. But unfortunately for us, our coaches are very emotive, and if they are foreign-based coaches, they would say, well, let me not concede so many goals and I play defensively. Even if we lose, is in my country. But when you have your home-based players, like the example of Morocco, they go there.
Somebody said Ancelotti should not come back to he should remain in America.
So for the local coaches, I mean, Morocco, for example, they go there and they play the football because the local coaches say, we are playing with our qualities. Let's go there and play our football. That is it.
Bernard, one of the biggest things I've seen is how the story, when Portugal came out, the headline was that Bruno Fernandes
no help.
In fact, the Portuguese players did not want to help Ronaldo.
Okay.
The Argentine team, that is, the Argentine team was helping Messi, but the Portuguese team did not want to help Ronaldo. That Bruno was feeling like he's the star player of the team. I mean, because when you look at the team, the midfield was previewed to be the best midfield in the World Cup, but it failed.
Okay.
It produced nothing. Why? What do you think was the problem? I mean, was like Ronaldo fans listening to us? Was Ronaldo the problem? What was the problem?
Yes. But before I cue in, let me just add something to what you just said about having African coaches. Especially, generally, I think about our context first. For example, Cameroon. I don't know, but do we have a program that trains coaches around on the kind of philosophy that we need to start from the base?
From Cameroon, I can answer. We don't have the way you train players in Garoua, Coton Sport, Sahel, Gazelle. They have a different way of playing football. The way you train players in Douala is for sale directly for Europe. They have a different philosophy, and the way we train in Yaoundé, it's different. Go to Limbe, they have their own playing style, and when you put all these people together, it becomes a Bunganjanga. Everybody does the way he wants. So we don't have.
So you now realize that there's a problem. That's why we keep on going out there for foreign coaches, because the coaches here, we do not really have a philosophy, even minus the philosophy, we have not trained good managers here in Cameroon, and it's a problem. And when you look at the teams nowadays, if you look at, for example, Cameroon, you have the likes of Carlos Baleba. If you look at his mentality, it's true that yes, he has that shrewd mentality of a Cameroonian child. Let me look at Mbeumo. Look how Mbeumo plays. Mbeumo did not spend most of his time here in Cameroon. If you want to look at this guy who plays for Bayer Leverkusen, who just came in as well, Kofani as well. When you look at how he plays, that mentality, it is more of the European mentality. If you want to look at the other guys like the Casileto, you look at this right back Chamade, and the rest, you notice that most of them have that foreign mentality. And what then do? Do you bring an African coach who is going to challenge?
Then you put Che Malone and this man at central back who have the Cameroonian.
So you now realize that mix. It is already
maybe
an
that's
issue.
why Christopher could not bring down that Cabo Verde's attacker.
Yeah. So when you look at most of these things, what I actually prescribe is that you look for a coach out there who is tactically elite. A coach who can, a very good coach who can profile players. When it comes, it is not about the name. It is about the philosophy that he has brought and how they suit that particular philosophy in order to give out the best. Let me give you a very good example, De La Fuente. Look at what De La Fuente did. He has played with the under-18s, the under-21. He has won. And then the guy comes to the World Cup and he deliberately decides not to pick Real Madrid players. And it was purely most of them. Yes, most of them were Barcelona players. And when he was asked, this is what the guy said, it was more about the play style and then the mentality as well. So you now realize that this is a coach, the name does not matter. He knows there will be criticism. But he decides to take that risk and make sure that, at the end of the day, the results should back it. And we all enjoyed how Spain played, popping the ball around. It's like Real Madrid does not play that kind of fashion. Real Madrid is more of counter-attacks and the rest. And so he had a crop of players that understood the philosophy so well. Okay, now let me come back to Portugal. Portugal, it was a total mess in this World Cup. And I did not expect that because the guys were from winning the Nations League, and my conception was that Martinez. I know Martinez as a good tactician, but not elite. Tactician, he ends at a certain level, because if he was elite, he should have been able to take the Belgian team, right to the top, maybe a final, but he was not able to do so. But then I expected him to look at what Enrique had done with Paris Saint-Germain, that midfield. He has the players there. You look at Vitinha, you look at Neves, and then Bruno Fernandes in terms of assist and the rest. I expect him to look at what the guys do and then build something similar, give them that similar environment where they are going to thrive. But it seems the guy didn't do so. Shocked. I'm watching the game. I find Neves, he's playing very close to Ronaldo up front. That's not how Neves plays at Paris Saint-Germain. He has that freedom. They are more, in fact, they are deeper. Have you noticed? I don't know if you have noticed, Paris Saint-Germain does not really have what you call a defensive midfielder. A defensive midfielder that has the proper qualities of a defensive midfielder. For example, the likes of Rodri, who shut down counter-attacks. They cover a lot of ground. They have what you call the complementary midfielders. Therefore, they complement each other. That's why you see, for example, De La Fuente, Spain. At one point, Pedri started. The Pedri could not continue. Why? Because he did not have the legs to cover ground. And so, with Rodri and Fabian Ruiz. Ruiz is another player who has the legs, and he could actually complement Rodri. Now you go to that Portuguese midfield. Like I said, it was a mess because these players were disjointed. That's not how they play. Even though we have positional football at PSG, but when it comes to the midfield, there is this philosophy that this guy brought up, Sonza, where you have the floaters, the guys who float in the midfield. There are particular positions that they pin. For example, the left back and the right back, you always know that they will be on the wings. But there are guys who constantly float, and it's difficult to track them. But when you look at the way Neves played, it was very easy for you to track Neves. The environments were not the best for him. Bruno Fernandes,
that one is no one to pass the ball.
A similar thing. It is not like, I don't know how we can put to Bruno Fernandes the same thing that happened when Ronaldo came in. I don't know how Ronaldo fans will take this, but Ronaldo has a way of dimming the light of others when he steps into a room. If you look at it, for example, when the guy was at Real Madrid, Benzema's light was dimmed totally because he's not the kind of player.
Ronaldo fans will not take it easy here, but
what happened was that Ronaldo does not serve others. Others serve him. Ronaldo does not work for you. That's why you hear Rafael Leao said, there was this interview that he made. Leao said when he doesn't score in the dressing room, he's not happy, even when they have won the team. That tells you more about the team. It's more about serving him. He comes first. And when he went to Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes was flying. And suddenly when he came to Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, was over for him. During his period, until when he left, Bruno Fernandes came again to the limelight. I think Martinez should have seen this coming. Bruno Fernandes, who had record assists, and then comes into the World Cup and is not able to provide the same number of assists. Why? Does Ronaldo has the capacity to make the same runs you would have in Mbeumo and the rest? No, he doesn't. The guy does not want to come in. During the second half. He wants to start every game. And Martinez builds his game around a player who does not serve the team but waits for the team to serve him. It becomes a problem. You want to look at Argentina, it is different, a little bit different from Messi. Messi is there. The team serves him, but at the same time, Messi serves the team. When the team gets into hard situations where he cannot score, you notice that he steps out. And then it's like, okay, if you guys want to track me, I'll take you guys out. Track me and let's see what will happen in there. The other guys will then come into play. The guy goes to the wing. And the guys, they must be compact to defend. Good as the norm. And then they give him the space on the wing and he destroys you from there because he has that creative ability. But would you say the same with Ronaldo? Impossible. So they build the game around the wrong player, to me.
Hey,
I've said that Ronaldo fans will not take it live. But I mean, he's saying the truth.
But this time they remove Bruno. Let us. This time Bruno is not there. The game is better.
I want to say that he has brought a very, very tactical analysis, because if you look at the Argentine team, when the team is not playing well, like against England, Messi had to come in. But you cannot say that the same for Ronaldo. When a team does not perform, Ronaldo cannot come. Let me beat that man. Maybe probably because of his age, we also give him the benefit of doubt. But now in Argentina, when the Argentine team is down, you see Messi coming up, stepping up for the team, and that's how they could defeat England. But coming to Bruno Fernandes, we know Bruno Fernandes in England. He's a record assist leader, but as he rightly said, he could not do the same thing in Portugal because the profile of players could not match up what he was doing in Man United. Ronaldo is not a player that will run. He's a type of player that needs a cross or head or give you a direct pass to his leg. We're not that type of player that can run like Brian Bemo or Sesko, who just like a pick of pass, he can run and make up the ground. So Ronaldo is we cannot blame Bruno Fernandes. As Dima rightly said, they built the team around the wrong player. Ronaldo
built around Bruno.
They would have built the team. They would have built the team out of Ronaldo. Ronaldo would have become like let me say a super sub or a somebody who comes in at the diamond and scores the goals. It would have been better. Somebody like Joao Felix. That's somebody who was the player of the season. Or what do you call this country? Saudi Arabia. But he came to the Portuguese team. Could not be just the same team because the philosophy of Martinez was building the team around Ronaldo. And Ronaldo could no longer carry the team because of his age. And will not blame him for that.
Yeah, just to add one little thing. When you watch, I think Ramos is the one who came in, who sub Ronaldo. Ramos came in. What teams do is that with Ronaldo on the team, it's very, very predictable. They know how to defend against him. The guy will sit there in the box, wait for crosses, and they were ready for the crosses. Now, Gonzalo Ramos comes in. The guy who always waits for crosses is no longer around. That was against Croatia. But bang, a cross comes in. And if you notice, Vardiol had not even taken his flight. He never expected the cross to come in, and Ramos gets a header. And that tells you that with Ronaldo in there, they are too predictable, but with Ramos and others, you can better, platform the team as a whole compared to Ronaldo being in there.
Lawrence, another thing that has drawn a lot of comments is the golden ball. Ronaldo fans are happy that Messi did not win it. Messi fans are angry that Rodri did not deserve the Ballon d'Or. Bernard earlier on said Rodri is more of a defense, like he has the characteristics of a defensive midfielder, and he plays deep. So it is, of course, difficult to note a lot of things about Rodri if you don't really have the tactical and so on. So, but to you, do you think that you look at the World Cup, Messi, Rodri, I think they were the top two in contending for it. But well, I've even watched some comments. Some people are like, Rodri should not even be in the top three.
Well, I think Messi is just because of the fan base and the noise all around the marketing. I mean, Messi will dribble, another player will do the same dribble, but nobody will talk about it. Everybody will be based on how Messi dribbled. Messi scores a goal, another player scores the same goal, but nobody will talk about it. So Messi has been overhyped, and each time he scored a goal for Argentina, I mean, the whole world is on flames. So, but the Spaniards, they play their football, and you have one guy sitting in front of the defense and doing everything and bringing his team right up to the finals. So I think he was voted by technicians, not by fans. If it were left to the fans, I think Messi would have been would taken the best player award. But there are technicians who sit behind and look at the influence you have in the game. Influence is not just about putting the ball in the back of the net or giving an assist. I mean, you have English players who scored and gave an assist, but England never got to the finals. So I believe from a technical point of view, FIFA was right. But from a marketing or fan base or popular point of view, everybody wants to see Messi go home with something, especially the fact that he's ending his international career without winning anything. So it would have been like a consolation prize. So we are looking at things from an emotive point of view, not based on statistics.
You buy the same view, because I think a similar debate came out. I think the last Ballon d'Or when Vitinha was in contention, but then he could not win. because he was, I don't know, you can profile Vitinha as a defensive midfielder as well, but he did not have the numbers as well. So yes, and a lot of people, but will you actually blame people? Because football now is, if you look at it, it's more of numbers. I mean,
football is more of numbers, even though I don't really share that view. I think the eye test should be the first thing, and then the numbers coming to support the eye test. I might differ a little bit. It's true, I appreciate Rodri so much.
Oh, you don't think he should have won?
Yes, I might differ. I appreciate Rodri so much. You know, he's the kind of the same. If you watch the game, you will not see Rodri's qualities, but if you watch Rodri, you're going to understand the entire game. One of the reasons why Spain could keep the ball is that Rodri's decision making is precise. And then secondly, the guy interprets spaces so well. He gives the ball and off. Once he gives the ball, he does not remain stagnant. The same thing with Vitinha. You know, he drifts off to space, collects, and then he keeps the team rolling. It's almost like an engine that requires fine oil, and the guy oils the engine very well. And he has the characteristics. You know, the other day I said, for you, this is what I do to classify players. I look at the best in the world and I put the best up there, and then I ask myself, do you have the qualities of the best? So for example, you have Rodri. Number one is physical. It means that aerial duels, he is there to cover your team. Number two, he covers a lot of ground, and then with the long legs, because that's one of the things that scout will take into consideration, your ability to tackle with those long legs, and then your passing ability as well, short range passes, precise decision, and how he spreads the ball around as well, very important. And then he has the unicorn ability as well to strike, you know, from range to score goals. That makes him quite unique, and I think he played a very good World Cup together. Especially the worst, let me not say the worst, but the best part of it was when Spain took the lead together with Pedri. They just popped the team, popped the opposition team around. Pass, move, and then his press resistance as well in tight spaces. There was I think it was in the semi-final. There was an action where the guy had about 3 players around him, and he was able to maneuver and get out of that tight space, and that's what Busquets was very good at. So he has this attribute. But then let me go to the other side. I think Messi.
Should have been Messi.
Yes, Messi for me. Messi for me should have taken home the golden ball, and I just felt like FIFA was just tired. The guy last World Cup, 2014, the guy had the golden ball.
If they had given him
last World Cup, he had the golden ball. This World Cup again, if they had given him, it would have been a problem. Now let me try to think. Spain without Rodri, do you think they would have gotten to a particular stage of this World Cup? Let's say the semi-final, or the quarter-final. I think partially they could have done so. They could have.
Really?
Now let us look at it the other way around. Argentina without Messi, I'm telling you, the group stage would have been the maximum. After the group stage, the guys would have been off. Now I'm trying to look at the nitty-gritties of Lionel Messi. What he does is that, let me take for example the semi-final when that was against England. Look at what happens. It's not just the creative ability of Messi. Messi is able to carry an entire defense right to the back, because when Messi is involved, he's a very special player, and teams have to defend in a very compact manner. And when teams defend in a very compact manner, what then happens? You have the spaces on the wings as well. So if you notice, one of the goals that he scored, I think, was it against Algeria, where he came in and then he finished off his trademark move like he has done in El Clásicos and the rest. When the guy moves onto the wing, when he holds the ball, because one thing wingers are good at doing is that they can shift your defense right up to the edge as they dribble, because players are oriented by the ball, especially the defenders, for the offside line. So once the ball is ahead, they have to follow the ball. He carries an entire block behind, and then before he turns and he serves the ball to a unicorn striker, Fernandez, who actually shoots and scores. He gets the ball again, and what happens? The guys, last time you went to your left and you served the player, you are going to block the left, you won't go in. And what does he do? This time around, he goes to the right and he crosses, bang, they score. You look at how Argentina, how they step out, like a pack, like a pack of lions, and Lionel Messi is the one leading them. Even there were moments during the game, I just mean mental-wise, the fact that they have Messi, it is already a booster. Even within games, there were moments where Lionel Messi will leave from the position of an attacker and he drops into midfield and he helps accelerate possession I think I've forgotten the game where he was able to do one-touch passes. Gets the ball, does not waste time, bang, it's almost like a wall-off pass, and they're beating the press of the opposition team. I think when I look at all of these things and the best moments, let me not say the best moments, but some of the best moments in this World Cup we have seen it thanks to Lionel Messi. Those edge on the seat moments, for example, against Egypt, where everybody, you close your mouth, you're like, wow, where does this guy come from? What is he made of? Free kicks, the guy scores. You come against England, single-handedly, England that we knew that England would probably get to the final with the crop of players that they had. Lionel Messi gave Thomas Tuchel all kinds of headaches because he was the one who started crossing. When he started crossing 1-2 and he hit the post, Thomas Tuchel started trembling, needed to bring in players, and they had to fall in. Without Messi, that wouldn't have happened. That's why I think Lionel Messi should have picked up, that particular award, because when you look at the goals and assist contributions combined, it was massive. And at 39 years old, it's just that FIFA felt like, man, it is too much.
There was already a narrative that FIFA was favoring.
Yes, there was that narrative. We can't give him. So I think Rodri had a very good World Cup. No, I'm not so mad at the fact that he was given to Rodri, but I think Messi deserved it, in my opinion, from his contribution.
David, the golden boy is in the right hands. Did they give the right person to you?
For me personally, maybe he's talking maybe probably because he's a Messi fan, because I've noticed since he came to this program, he has been backing Ronaldo. No, I'm not saying. Let me just a little bit. I am not necessarily a Messi fan. Mm-hmm. But you enjoy the way he plays.
Yes, it is just the way I look at the game, especially the way I do it on Ben Football Theatre. I make sure I look at the nitty-gritties. I don't just like to follow a player in that sense.
I think that if you watch Spain play, Rodri is the person who detects how they play. Because Rodri is that type of invisible player that you will not see Rodri giving the assist, scoring the goals, but he's the one who controls the tempo of the game. Take Rodri out of the Spanish team, there's nobody in the Spanish team that can play exactly how Rodri plays. That's why Rodri was able to play the tournament from start to finish, because he is that player that I will say without any fear of favor, De La Fuente built his team around Rodri, because he's that player that he's not like the Busquets type of player. We just see the way Busquets play, but you just see the way you just understand that if they're going to remove Busquets, you will understand the role he was actually playing. So I think that giving Rodri the Ballon d'Or would also take into consideration the golden ball. They also take into consideration he's not the type of player that will be involved in scandals, fair play. You hardly see him taking a look at the match. But if you watch the game, the final, there was a time that Messi was trying to cause Cucurella being sent off. So all those things people take into consideration. But for me, the golden boy is in the right hands. When he won the Ballon d'Or in 2024, people complained that it was with Vinicius Junior. But now looking at it critically, he's the type of player that if he's in a team, you know that he's in a team. But if he's out, you feel his absence.
Yeah, but just a question: who controls the tempo at Barcelona?
The tempo. I'm not much of Pedri is a controller. He's a person who detects the tempo of how Barcelona plays.
Could Pedri control the tempo with Spain?
Pedri could not fit. Pedri could not fit into De La Fuente's style of play. That's why he was always on the ball. But Rodri he was that ideal player for De La Fuente.
Would end the World Cup, yeah? Would end the World Cup, you have the...
But in 2014,
see you in 2030.
Messi won the golden ball. For me, was not actually to be Messi.
2030. See you in 2030, the next edition of the World Cup. We have just a few more minutes to go on the program. We'll take out the remaining minutes to talk the WAFCON. Cameroon is participating. Lawrence, first of all, the first question I would like to ask you is, how do you think we have treated the fact that first of all we did not qualify, and the pity they say no for the things you have been doing, come and participate.
No, I think it was following the text. It's not like we invented something.
Whichever way you want to put it, they did not qualify.
We did not. I think it's a fact that we did not qualify on the pitch, and I think it was a big catastrophe that for the first time in the history of the competition. After I don't know how many decades, Cameroon could not make it through the qualifiers. It tells you the state of women football, especially when it comes to the senior national team. We haven't been able to, how would I say it? I would say it in pidgin, remove our jigger from our toe. Because when you have players who have been 16 years in the team and they still claim that they haven't won anything and they are still motivated to win, for me, it's not possible. It's not possible. You have to turn over and you have to move on with a new generation. It's better to move on in the new generation. You fail with that generation, but you build from something.
By new generation, you're probably frowning at the fact that, I mean, we still have the young guys who have brought it, Naomi Eto'o, but somewhere around they still brought the Ajaras and the...
they cannot express themselves, and we have this rush of our players going to play in, I don't know, Uzbekistan, funny destinations, Turkey. And once they move out of the Women's Super League, they become a shadow of themselves. They just want to go there, come back with jersey with their name and say they are professionals and things like that. But we lose all the values. And I mean, the management of women football in general has brought us to not be able to qualify on the pitch of play. I think it's really poor management. Nothing to do with the local league. The local league is the local league. But the selection of players and the management of players and management of careers has been very problematic and has led us not to be able even to qualify on the pitch of play.
Lawrence, the Federation is probably analyzing that bringing Pagu David as one of the best. I mean, if you want to consider, was it last season, he was the best because he won the award,
yes,
the best coach. Bringing him to the national team, he was able to at least move them out of the group stage. And the Federation, based on the speeches from the president, was a successful campaign. I mean, it was a good campaign that they are proud of. So for them, it was a good campaign. So I'm guessing it is on that same basis that they went in to bring this woman that I forgot her name.
Valentine Gele.
Yes, who was at FC Boloa. I mean, Ebolo has had quite a good run ever since they got promotion. I mean, winning the league with that unbeaten run. This is, I think, they have lost just one game, they have won again. But then bringing her in, and then still bringing in somebody, they say, I don't know what is a
super, prof or the coordinator of
the coach coordinator of
the coordinator of the national team.
So, do you think that it's going to work? Because I'm assuming that the philosophy is Pagu, they assume that Pagu did well because he's from, so they're bringing her in to.
Well, I think they brought her in. They didn't prepare her for the job. If you wanted her to coach the national team, you would have given her the under-17 so that she moves from winning with the Bolova, moving on to play with the under-17, play with the under-20 before moving up to the senior team, such that she can bridge the gap and she can mend. Bringing players from the under-17, under-20, and you know the players. You know how you can fit them in the senior squad. You don't remove somebody from a Bolova and you bring directly to the national team. It's possible. You can do it. But now, another question generally is, it's on social media. People are asking who is the true coach of the team, because we don't believe she's the one. Everybody knows it is La Prof. How is it called?
The guy from France.
The guy from France, because even the fitness coach is from France. They are the ones really making the major decisions.
On the document, she is head coach.
On the document, she is head coach because CAF has been asking nations to progressively, I think in FIFA, that women football should be handled by the women. That's why sometimes you can have a woman as a main coach, then you have an assistant, a technician, who is always whispering in her ears and telling her, do like this, it's preferable we do like this, to assist her in her duties. Let's not forget that all the categories of the women's team were handled by two people, Hassan Bala and
Josephine
Mike Ndumu, who were navigating from the under-17 to the senior team. and we didn't know who was doing what. And suddenly now she comes in, and it's true that she brings a new philosophy that nobody is privileged. Everybody will be taken at the same level. So you begin by testing yourself physically. Those who are not physically fit will be ousted. It's true that the test they do for all the players took just 2 days or 3 days, and they removed a list of 26 players. I have the impression that the list was already prepared in the drawer before we get to that level. So you see players like Mofomotu moving out. You know, Mofomotu is the best defender we have in the team. She has been there for long, but we haven't seen no other defender who was able to match up with her. Ajara has the experience, though I don't believe she was playing again football because she's more into her businesses, her houses, and going to play in Saudi Arabia for me is no football, and she had even said bye-bye long ago to the Saudi Arabian team, so it's natural that she be sidelined. But when you look at that list of 26, really, I have much to say, but I can't say much of my children are still young. And there are certain things you cannot say. You can so say on air. But globally speaking, I believe we don't have the right management of. We don't have a project, and we don't have the right management in terms of profiling players and accompany them in their careers, letting players just go anyhow at any destination without prior follow-up or monitoring. For me, that has brought us to where we are today, and it's rather unfortunate that we qualify from the offices instead of qualifying from the pitch of play.
David, when you look at people that we started this competition with, because back then, I think back in those days, the WAFCON 4 teams participated: Cameroon, Guinea, Nigeria. Nigeria has already gone on to win 10. They have 10, and by degree of that, definitely they are favorite. The most favorite to win this year's edition, probably an 11. Now, aside them, we've had others that have come up. The Zambia, you cannot joke with them, South Africa, and all that. What are we still doing behind? Not like, what is the special thing that these people?
I think that Cameroon has gotten into the final, I think 4 times, and against Nigeria, and they have always lost against Nigeria. I think that what has been Cameroon's biggest problem in this competition has been Nigeria. Because if you look at the issue of the competition, whenever Cameroon goes and faces Nigeria, it's always a defeat. So I think that taking Nigeria away from this competition, Cameroon have won 4-5 of this 4-5 of editions. But unfortunately, it has not been the case because we have always stumbled in front of a very, very strong Nigerian team. But now going to this competition, qualifying first of all on paper, not even on the pitch, that's already so I'll say it's just like a psychological drawback. And now having a team where the internal squabbles, you go and train, they remove this one from this one, so I'm not playing again. I think there's a lot of things going on in the team that we need to fix before we go to the competition.
Things are always going on.
So I think that Cameroon has always has this issue of always having scandals before competitions, which does not really help us. I think that we should focus on playing football on the pitch, not playing football in the offices, because you just a simple issue of remove the captaincy from one person to another is already a problem. It divides the whole team. Yes, so there are people who are for this captain, there are people who are for this captain. So how would they progress? It's going to be very difficult for them to have a coherent spirit in the field of play. I think that if we can remove some of these scandals, these pre-tournament scandals, it's going to help us a lot to win many more AFCONs to come.
Again, I'll go back to this issue of expanding. It was 12.
It was 8.
Yeah, it started from 4, went to 6, 8, 12, and then now it is 16. Now it is 16. Now, does this really benefit the African football, the women's football? Because there's our women. Does it really benefit women's football? Because CAF will tell you that they want more teams to participate, but behind they want to make more money. They are adding teams, whereas if you take, for instance, I've really never understood the AFCON itself, the men's category. Those guys have said that they want to be playing In fact, they have made something they'll be playing every year. Every year they'll be playing something before. But the African Cup of Nations itself, they said it will be after 4 years. After how many years?
After 4 years.
So somebody asked a question that how, because CAF has promised more money, they said they're going to expend more. And somebody asked that how do you reduce the frequency of your most valuable competition, and you tell us that there will be more money. There will be more money. You reduce the frequency of the competition, whereas we know that when the more you play the competition, the more money comes. But then you have reduced the frequency, and you're saying that there will be more money. So this thing CAF is saying, they have increased the number of teams, and they are telling us that it's because they want more teams to participate. You really think that's the real motive? And besides, how does it even benefit us? I mean,
I think that
we know that. I mean, we can all agree that women's football in Africa is how do I even grade it? Anyways, how does it benefit us?
I think that it's a double-edged sword where CAF is looking forward to give many more African teams the opportunity to participate in the AFCON, because before now you hardly hear it seem like
no, that you said they are given some. I'm asking myself, it's not a thing you are supposed to fight for. Like, we know it's 12 teams to qualify. You fight and you'll be among them.
I'm saying that they are struggling as much as possible to have more African teams participating. I began by saying it's a double-edged sword. They want to give more African teams the opportunity to play. Like, for example, Cabo Verde will be playing for the very first time. Other nations who have never had the opportunity to play in an AFCON, they'll be participating, which is a good thing. Now, looking at the second edge of the sword, which is going to be money, because the more the teams, the more the matches, and when the matches increase, the more the price of ticket increase, and all the more TV rights increase. So they are showing to manage it in such a way that, in as much as we want to give the teams the opportunity to play, they also use it as an opportunity to make money. Just like the FIFA World Cup, FIFA made the highest revenue during this World Cup. It's true that the teams were expanded, but now they use this has been the highest. You're having a competition that you make in the net balance $13.something billion, yes. which is mind blowing. Remember the fact that the money they are spent giving to teams who qualify for the group stage, who crash out the group stage, the last of their pool, but they leave with $12 million, and still making about $13 billion. I think that is just a way to give teams the opportunity and also to make money out of it.
Would you say they are missing the mark? I mean, we know the profile of the CAF president is a businessman. He's a big businessman, and when you look at him since he's there, is more every time they have double prize money. Now, they're foregoing the developmental aspect. For instance, if you come to African football, one of the dumbest zone is this our zone, UNIFAC. UNIFAC is the zone.
I think it depends upon the nations that constitute the sub confederations. UNIFAC is sleeping not only in the women, the men, and the junior categories. If you see Zambia today strong, it's because South Africa has decided that in the COSAFA region they are going to play under 15, under 17, under 20, both men and women. So by small Zambians going to South Africa every day, playing the under 15, playing the under 20, at one point they match up. And they get to the level of South Africa, and South Africa had said that for South Africa to be strong, South Africa needs strong nations around. You cannot be the only big boy as we do in Central Africa.
Yeah, the big boys in UNIFAC.
In Cameroon, at the level of UNIFAC, Cameroon has practically no interest. This year will be the first time that we are receiving the qualifiers of the African Women Champions League qualifiers for UNIFAC. It has always been in other countries, and we even go sometimes by road.
By boat. You go canoe after the bus.
Of the competition. It shows you that we don't have any vision at the level of UNIFAC, whereas other nations are building up. In West Africa, at the WAFU region, they have two sub-confederations, and they have been playing nations WAFU Cup, the under 22 at the level of women. That's why you start seeing some nations coming out from West Africa. It's no more Nigeria and Ghana. All the other nations are moving on, and we are just talking. Well, Motsepe is a businessman. It's about the money and increasing prize money, and I think increasing the number of clubs equally gives more interest for the other so-called small nations who now start watching the African Women Cup of Nations, because I bet you at Cabo Verde, for example, everybody will be on television to watch the women play. Senegal, I mean, they met the head of state, they gave them the flag. There was a whole ceremony. So it's taking grounds, and the more you start having more nations watching, the more TV rights and business and all these things come into play. So CAF is investing money into women football, and I think the FIFA goal projects and the development projects, it's left for countries to take the money and develop women football. You know, recently the General Assembly had given FECAFOOT the authorization to take from that development budget to use it as operational fees to run the federation, because there was no money. So elsewhere, they use the money for development to do development. Here we use the money for development to run the federation. So you will not say it's Motsepe's fault. It all depends on each country. And people are investing more and more in women football, whereas we have been stagnant and lucky. We have the name sponsor that's sponsoring the Women League, and they are the ones really holding women football in Cameroon, if not of them. And another betting company that has come in that immediately a team wins, all the players receive 25,000 francs.
Orange money. I saw some screenshots of people were showing here.
Yes, for each player of the team. So that gives a greater a greater interest into the game, and more engagement from the players. But we need the federation and the state to define women football. We have an AFUT that has been training girls, and all the girls have been used in the clubs. But I believe there is something not going on well in the general organization, in the ecosystem of women football in Cameroon. Something is breaked at a certain level. We have to harness and put all the pieces together for us to really get there, because other countries are evolving while Cameroon is regressing, and we have not been able to qualify on the pitch of play, whereas in those days it was just a mere formality.
So now, going back to Team Cameroon, I mean, with the crop of players they have selected out there to go to Casablanca, I mean, when you look at our group, Mali, Cape Verde, and where would you at least expect that we would reach, considering the opponents as well, and then the team?
Well, with the expansion, there is no more best third. You have to be among the first two.
Go straight to the quarterfinals.
You go straight to the quarterfinals, and when you qualify for the semifinals, you qualify for the World Cup that will take place in Brazil. So we are playing Mali in the first game, and playing Ghana in the second game. So the Cameroon should be strategic. The thing is, we don't have to lose the first game. If we lose the first game, it's going to be a catastrophe. We don't have to lose the game against Mali, try to get a draw against Mali, or win the game. And we know against Ghana is going to be complicated, very complicated and very difficult. And why not? Cabo Verde is just coming in. They'll be excited that we can make our way there. And end up at least with 4 points and move on to the next phase of the competition. So there is a possibility of moving out of the group stage. But when we look at the squad, I think nothing is sure, because we have gone and dug the ancestral women, the names we had in the yesteryears, and we have brought them back into the team. And some of our players, you hear Mbappe Tundi, she plays in Spain, but when you go and look deeply, she plays in second division in Spain, where football is not competitive. You will hear the other Njoya, our number 10, she plays in Real Madrid. Toko Njoya. But it's Real Madrid B. She doesn't play in the Real Madrid. She plays in the reserve. So it's not competitive. Naomi Eto'o went and got lost in Europe. I mean, when you look at Rose Bella of the yesteryears, she's coming back. Ngombele that was playing in Israel, I don't know which year, she too is coming back. So Michaela Bam, all those names that we had forgotten, they are back on track, and we have the Ballon d'Or, the best player of the Cameroon League, the revelation. She is not part of the squad. Tiwa Fres Leach. She was
2 times golden winner.
2 times golden. I mean, she's above even the local league. When you see her play, the way she acts the ball, the goals and things like that, and you are like, putting aside this player. And the second best goal scorer.
They say that is because she's too young.
The second best goal scorer too is not part of, because they were among the players who had called for the federation to give them back their coach. So they have been sidelined till, I don't know, maybe the end of this executive, the present executive at Fecafoot. You will never see their names anywhere. They are the best. They are scoring the goals. They are doing the job. They are super. They do all what is necessary. They are more than, we know that when you follow women football, they are more than practically half of those who have been selected. But unfortunately, I don't know whether it's discipline. Sometimes the call for the nation should be above such personal considerations, unfortunately.
For you, David, for workout, so why are you expecting that we go with the players that we have taken there?
I think that least I would expect is for Cameroon to go through the group stage, because having Cabo Verde in your team who is coming for the first time it should be a must-win game for you. And when you win one game at the group stage, you just look for a draw either against Ghana or Mali, knowing that with 4 points you can smuggle your way into.
And we start with Mali, Ghana before Cabo Verde.
If you draw your time to go there, you will draw. You win Cape Verde, and then
so you have to expect that Cameroon, being a nation that has been in this competition for a very long time, they should at least go through the group phase. But they should, maybe if there's a possibility, they should finish first of the group so they can avoid a tougher draw in the second round. So I think that if we handle the group stage very well, knowing that Cabo Verde should be our wives that are going to be able to beat them, and now looking for a way to draw even against Mali or beat Ghana, or nevertheless, if we go through the group stage as first position, we are going to avoid a tougher draw.
Is it realistic?
It's realistic. It's very realistic. I think that it's realistic because I know very well that we are going to have a victory against Cabo Verde. But now let's see how we are going to manage the game, either Mali or Ghana. Then avoid the tough draw. Then after, maybe see ourselves go to the semi-finals.
Okay, gentlemen, we have reached the end of today's edition of the program. Bernard, thank you very much for passing by. We do hope to have you another time, one day again.
Yes, thank you so much. It was a privilege for me to be here. Maybe the last word before I go. I really hope that TV houses in Cameroon, they take the tactical part of the game very serious, because I don't remember the last time I really watched tactical analysis from a Cameroonian TV station, and I felt so happy, unfortunately. So
that's a stray bullet. That's a stray bullet. That's a stray bullet. That's a stray bullet.
No, I'm talking especially from the graphics, with the TV, and then they really explain the game to us deeply.
Okay, talk a lot.
Lawrence, it was nice to have you. Thank you very much for.
Well, it's a pleasure to be back and to be in this beautiful studio, and to have fellow consultants on the panel up to the task. It's always good to learn from one another.
Sorry, we could not come back to take your excuses why people lost to Wrexham. But thank you for coming, David.
Thank you very much for inviting me again. I know that as I'm leaving the studio now, I only receive your text again on Tuesday in the night. That's the only time you check on me.
That is not embarrassing.
Nevertheless, I'm happy to be happy to meet. What's his name again? Bernard and my big brother Lawrence Kede.
So that's it. Up next, after sports, we are going to have Jeunesse et Education. He has joined me in the studio already. Bertrand Bois. Good evening, good afternoon.
Allez, bon après-midi à vous, bon après-midi aux deux panélistes que je vois constamment, et surtout bon après-midi à un des panélistes que je n'ai pas vu depuis longtemps, dont je lui adresse particulièrement un après-midi en cet instant.
Bon après-midi, Bertrand.
Ok, Jeunesse et Éducation.
Voilà, après le sport qui était très intéressant parce que j'ai pris de la peine pour vous écouter. Vous savez que je suis un amoureux du sport et du football en particulier. Dans Jeunesse et
United. Non, à la Madrid.
Ah bon, c'est
à la Madrid.
Restons concentrés. Il faut que l'émission est finie. Allez, dans Jeunesse Éducation cet après-midi, vous savez qu'il y a quelques jours déjà, le gouvernement de la République, au travers du ministère en charge de l'éducation, a annoncé, n'est-ce pas, la construction et la création de 17 CETIC sur l'ensemble du territoire national. Nous allons donc comprendre les enjeux de cette mise sur pied de nouveaux établissements et surtout les perspectives. Ça va se faire avec des pédagogues, mais aussi avec nos auditeurs, parce que nous allons ouvrir l'antenne à partir de 17h, passé de 25 minutes.
You've heard it from him, ladies and gentlemen. Take the rendezvous for Jeunesse Éducation. In the meantime, goodbye.